Judd Busch here to talk about what martial arts means to me. Martial arts is about respect. You gotta respect the people that are ahead of you, better than you, and your teachers. Because if you don't, and you get disrespectful, they'll put it to you. They'll be able to do whatever they want, and they ain't gotta learn you nothing else. That could be it. You could be done. So respect, number one. Loyalty, number two. You got to be loyal to the people you train with, because let's say they're training for a fight. If you ain't loyal, you could go to whoever they fighting and you could tell them what's going to happen so you can make you some extra money to run down to the Taco Bell. Loyalty. Wisdom. It's about learning right from wrong and learning what works and what doesn't. So if you're doing something and it don't work, you've learned from your experience not to use that no more. Wisdom. It's about honor. If you ain't honorable and you go and do something that is against the rules, then people are going to say you didn't really win that fight. People tell me all the time, before I started doing martial arts, I got in a lot of fights. And I'd kick people in the balls, I'd poke them in the eye, and everybody's always telling me, they're like, Judd, you didn't really win them fights. Because I didn't have honor. Another one's courage. That's really why I started here. Because I used to get beat up, and I wouldn't be able to stand up to the people that would pick on me. I know, hard to believe, Judd over here was getting picked on, but it happened. So you got to have the courage to stand up to the people doing something wrong. Courage. It's about compassion. Let's skip compassion. It's about forgiveness. Let's say somebody chokes you out real hard and you ain't ready for it. Are you going to hold a grudge? You're training partners with these people. You just got to forgive and forget. Next one's discipline. You got to have the discipline to get better, to come in day after day. Some people stroll in here asking me, Judd, I want to train. I'm like, alright, I'll train you for a little price. Well, they come a few weeks and then they quit. They just quit coming. Because they ain't got the discipline to be here. That goes right into perseverance. Sometimes you get knocked down, you got to get right back up. You got to persevere through the hard times to get to the good ones. What if Tank Abbott had quit when he was getting hit in the face a couple times? He wouldn't be the best fighter in the UFC ever. He wouldn't. He persevered. Another important part about fighting in martial arts is self-control. I know some people with some self-control issues. My boy Cornbread, he's got a real self-control problem. When he gets to drinking a little bit, he starts hitting people that he ought not be hitting. Like women and children and folk like that. I told him, I said, Cornbread, I'm going to let you come in here and train with me. Even for a few days for free. Because you're almost family. I'm going to let you come in here and train so I can teach you self-control. Because Cornbread, if you're watching this, you lay your hand on my sister again, I'm going to put you down. Integrity is another part of martial arts. Integrity is important because you got to know right from wrong. You got to do what's right, and you can't be exploiting what I'm teaching you for bad stuff out there. That's integrity. Another important part of martial arts is focus. You got to be able to focus on what you're doing. Because if you get sloppy, and let somebody get you in an omoplata, then that could be the end of your career. Those have killed people. So you've got to focus on what you're doing. Because if your mind is wandering, you could get really hurt doing UFC. Next is attitude. You got to come in here with a clean attitude, a fresh attitude, not a bad one. Because if you come in here with a bad attitude, then ain't nobody going to want to put up with you, to be honest. We've put people out before because they had a bad attitude, but not before we finished them. And they learnt what martial arts was supposed to be about. Integrity. You gotta have integrity to do what's right and what's wrong with what your skills are. If you learn with me long enough, I could teach you probably how to kill a man. But you gotta know that you ain't supposed to do that. You can't just be going out killing folk, especially untrained folk. I'm talking to you, cornbread. Excellence is the most important part of martial arts. We ain't doing this for fun. We ain't doing this to get beat up. We're doing this to be excellent. We don't want to see anybody on the road, I don't care how big they is. We know what we can do, and they look at us in the eye, and they see deep in us that they can't handle it. That's what martial arts is about to me. Is that good?
Yeah.
Good.